Welcome back to the Random Article Podcast. I'm your co-host, Bujan, joined as always by the infallible Madison.
I don't know what that word means.
I don't either, but it seems nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that word.
I think it means no flaws.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Fantastic. We are going to go through every Wikipedia article ever written, one by one.
Single one.
And to do so, we're going to click the random article button and find a random article and read it. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the Songshin Women's University Station, which is a station on the Line 4 of the Seoul subway. As its name indicates, it serves the nearby Songshin Women's University.
Have you ever been to Songshin Station?
I have not had the pleasure.
Oh, here's a little picture of it.
This is a metro station in Korea. It looks like it's in the vicinity of a girls' middle school and high school.
Lots of schools. Like, it looks like this area is just like a whole bunch of schools.
Like a neighborhood of schools.
Yeah, Songshin's girls' middle and high schools, women's university.
So the Songshin Women's University is a private women's university in Seoul, South Korea, founded in 1936 by Dr. Suk Chung Lee. During the 60s and 70s, it was a teacher's college, and then in the 80s, the college was promoted to status of comprehensive university. Today, the university comprises of 10 colleges, 5 graduate schools, with a total enrollment of about 12,000 students.
Okay, I scrolled straight down to the controversy section, right?
I didn't realize there was one. Please enlighten me.
Their president, she was elected as president for a third term, but then people raised concerns that she had embezzled funds, and she was suspended.
She is also the granddaughter of the founder.
So Scandalous. It's like a family. She's like, what? This is just my family account.
Yeah, this is just what we do here.
I mean, it's a private school.
Can you embezzle funds from, like, a private school? Isn't that just, like, taking your cut?
I imagine that she has a salary or some sort of pay, and then the school's money is the school's money and not hers. But, like, why don't you just give yourself a raise?
She embezzled 378 million won.
Okay, let me see. I'm on it.
$320,000.
Okay.
I feel like that's not even that much.
I don't know how big this school is or how expensive it is, but I feel like she could easily, if it's her family school, just like bonus herself out $300,000. No big deal.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of singers come out of this school.
So it's probably like uppity, huh?
The K-pop stars. It's a factory.
But I don't see any. What's that band? The boy band?
Behind the scenes, BTS.
BTS. No, it's boys that sing.
Are you sure?
No, I think Owen told me that, and I believed him.
I know it's not behind the scenes, but that's how I remember it. But boys that sing also sounds wrong.
It might be because, like, it's so cheesy. Let's see. Yeah, no. Known as the Bangtan Boys. Gosh, Owen's lying to me.
I googled BTS, and Google suggested people also ask, is any BTS member died?
Was there a concern?
What is BTS' most hated country? I want to know.
Yeah, I want to know, actually. The Philippines.
Oh, also, it does look like one of the guys died.
Did they?
He committed suicide by carbon monoxide.
But he's in BTS. That's as good as life gets. I have a question, though. Most hated country is the Philippines. Does that mean the Philippines hate them or they hate the Philippines?
I think they hate the Philippines the most.
Why? You can't just be a public figure and hate a country.
I don't know. It's a very roughly translated site. I don't believe any of it.
Despite possessing immense fame and followers, the people, capital P, from specific nations hate BTS and the members, capital M, of BTS. Oh, the USA is number 2. We hate them.
Never even heard one of their songs, but...
They don't know what the word hate means. like we don't hate you. We just don't like you. You know?
Right. So I'm a little distracted. I'm reading about this guy's suicide.
Well, I'm very intrigued about all of this BTS hate going on.
Like, one of the main singers of BTS committing suicide should have kind of, like, passed my radar.
Yeah, I would have thought so. When was it?
2017. December 2017.
Okay, well, that was so long ago, Bijan. It probably did.
Only, like, 4 years ago.
Only?
Yeah. I mean, shoot, if you break up my life into 4-year periods, that's only 7 periods of 4 years. Is that right?
This is like a completely irrelevant way to look at this. It was a long time ago. It was 4 years ago. You're not going to remember that.
I remember things that happened 4 years ago.
Yeah, but not
That's
member of a boy
ago.
band that you don't even listen to committing suicide.
I don't know. I feel like that's breaking news. I would have cried if someone told me.
You wouldn't have.
Shall we move on? Let's talk about the Argentine national anthem.
Are you going to sing it for us?
Maybe. It is the national anthem of Argentina. Lyrics were written by Buenos Aires-born politician Vicente Lopez.
Vicente Lopez y Planes.
Why does his name have an and?
Because he has 2 last names. It's basically like a hyphen.
But it's like an ampersand, basically.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's pretty
kinda
cool.
Crazy. That's a good idea. Why do we do hyphens? We should just do and.
That's great. And
You should try it.
I'm in 2 families. I'm in this and this.
You should get married just so you can.
Throw the and in there. Yeah. Well, regardless, Vicente wrote this piece. Music was composed by Spanish musician Blas Parera. It was adopted as the official song in 1813, 3 years after the May Revolution. May 11th is therefore now Anthem Day in Argentina.
Oh wait, controversy. The song includes a line that has given rise to controversy. Buenos Aires. This is all in Spanish. How are we supposed to know?
Don't you speak Spanish?
In the manuscript and an early printed song sheet, the word opone is used. A slightly later version of the song sheet correcting obvious errors, such as spelling mistakes, was issued with the same date, but with opone changed to pone. Who cares? It's the same thing.
This is controversial.
Oh, the meaning reverses. Buenos Aires opposes the front of the people of the Union to Buenos Aires positions itself at the front. Oh, so it was like a typo.
Controversial typo.
The original opone has been interpreted as advancing part of the centralist views in Buenos Aires, but has also been considered a tragical misprint. Ooh, yeah, I wonder what it is. I wonder if he meant to put that in.
The new controversy. Wait, I thought you spoke Spanish.
I can understand sometimes some Spanish, but like I don't. I took 4 years in high school and like, but no.
Okay. I mean, I feel like all national anthems are boring.
Yeah, they are. Dude, ours is kind of exciting, not gonna lie.
The U.S. national anthem?
Yeah.
What?
There's like rockets and shit.
Starts out talking about some guy named Jose who like can't see.
When do they talk about Jose?
Jose, can't you see?
Oh yeah, but I think it's really exciting when it's like in the rocket's red glare, and then they do the big like crash, you know,
and everyone cheers.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting.
So exciting. National anthems are so weird.
They're just like patriotic.
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes it weird.
Well, it used to be cool to like be patriotic.
Did it?
Yeah, it was definitely cool. Like when I was a kid, the 4th of July was dope. Now the 4th of July is kind of just like, oh, like I'm just going to cringe through this day.
Has it changed or have you changed?
I think it has changed because I remember like everyone being into it. It was like a big whole thing. Like we would go to Old Navy every July, late June, early July, and like pick out our new t-shirt, and like the whole family would wear them. It was a whole thing. Like nobody does that anymore.
Maybe it's just the people in your circle.
Not here.
That don't do
Yeah,
it.
not here. I'm sure they do.
Okay, let's move on before I start getting on my soapbox.
Okay.
Let's talk about John Allen Chau. John Allen Chau was an American Christian missionary who was killed by the Sentinelese, a self-isolated, uncontacted people, after illegally traveling to the North Sentinel Island in an attempt to preach Christianity to them.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Where is this? Do you know, first of all?
I believe it's off the coast of India.
Okay, let me look at the map.
So it's
There's
like
no map.
somewhere in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah. Wow, he was our age too, 91.
Yeah. Okay, so I do know a little bit about the North Sentinel Island.
Okay.
Because this is like, it's like a famous island where there's an indigenous people that lives on this island.
Mm-hmm.
They basically have had very little, maybe like a couple interactions with the rest of the world within the past like 100 years, because they're so aggressive to people that try to get onto the island, to the extent where they're just like, we're not going to bother with these people.
Do they think that people are like aliens or something?
I don't believe so, because I think there's been a couple interactions with the outside world, and like there's like one time in like the 50s maybe. They just don't want to interact with the outside world. So they just don't.
That's so crazy. It's got to be like, we're scared of what you're doing here.
I don't know if it's a fear. They just don't want it.
Okay. But they don't even know what's out there. That's the thing. Like they can't make the decision of like, we don't want technology. We don't want that stuff here, because they just don't know. Like they don't let anyone open their mouth long enough to say it.
Well, yeah, they just shoot them.
Oh my. Wait, so they have guns?
Bows and arrows.
Okay.
And spears.
Wow. Wait, this is really sad.
Is it? Because apparently this guy was warned multiple times to not do this.
Well, I'm sure he was warned.
So, yeah, this guy...
Oh, he considered it to be Satan's last stronghold on Earth. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, so in 2017, during the year when Chau participated in boot camp missionary training, he expressed his interest in going preaching to the Sentinelese. He then traveled out there. In November, he embarked on an expedition, which, yeah, he considered to be Satan's last stronghold, with the aim of converting the heathens, basically.
So, and it was super illegal what he did, too. They say that he did not seek permission from the Indian authorities before embarking, making his trip illegal under Indian law, as foreign citizens must obtain a permit to visit the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, with nobody being allowed on North Sentinel. So he paid 2 fishermen 25,000 rupees to take him close to the island. Then what? He like swam the rest of the way?
Yeah, or maybe he like had a dinghy or something.
He paddled a kayak from the boat to the island and attempted to communicate with the Sentinelese, but left the gifts and retreated when the villagers began stringing their bows. He later paddled back to the island and walked up to the beach, this time while attempting to communicate with the natives. He abandoned his kayak and swam back to the boat in panic when one of the villagers shot an arrow at him and struck the Bible he was holding. Wow, this is straight out of a movie.
That's pretty incredible.
On November 16th, the date when Chau was last seen alive, he asked the fishermen to drop him off alone on the island after thinking that the Sentinelese might feel more comfortable if they did not see the foreign fishing boat nearby. Wow. So prior to being left alone, he admitted in his diary that he was scared, but it was worth it to declare Jesus to the people.
Oh boy. Like, how misguided does this boy have to be?
What year was that? 2018?
In 2017.
But then he went to Port Blair in October 2018, where he prepared. Wow. So they never got his body out either. They made several attempts, but eventually abandoned the efforts.
If you go to that island, you're going to get shot with a bow and arrow.
A murder case was opened following his death. Okay.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Good luck. Why don't you go try to arrest them?
Yeah, send the cops out there, see what happens.
I dare you.
So it's like amazing to me that this like society exists on this island. Like, they're self-sustaining.
I know you say, oh, is it sad because he's like so dumb, but like it's still sad because he was like obviously so naive, thinking that he could like do what no one else has been able to do.
If like, okay, so like he was like walking out like holding the Bible out in front of him,
right?
And then the person like shot like a warning shot, and they hit the Bible, like, don't come around here. You know what? Gotta try again.
It doesn't even matter because it sounds like he wasn't even able to communicate with them at all. But
right,
I feel like in my mind, maybe it would have been a little bit different if he was just like, look, I'm going to give up my life and go live there and see what this is all about because I'm intrigued and I want to learn about it and I'm going to devote my life to that. You know, that would be kind of cool. And then it'd be like, well, shoot, he got killed. But like the fact that he's like, I'm going to go convert them. Like what makes you think like they don't want to be converted? What makes you think that one little guy coming swimming up onto their beach is going to make them change their minds?
I can't believe I didn't even think of that. Like, he doesn't even know the language. No one knows the language they communicate with. Well, they said
he trained with linguists. So, you know, I'm sure there are ways like that you can communicate
like pictures and stuff.
Yeah, if you both don't speak the same language, and I'm sure and that would actually be really interesting, like to do that training. Because like for me, if someone doesn't speak English, I just speak English to them louder. you know
louder and slower.
So that's kind of cool, but I'm
looking at the history of the Sentinel Island now. It looks like there were like some expeditions there. Like the British visited in the 1700s.
And they were like, nope.
They left real quick.
Dude, if Britain couldn't get on there, nobody can.
There were the Portman's expeditions, led by Maurice Portman, a government administrator who hoped to research the natives. He landed in 1880. The group found a network of pathways and several small abandoned villages. After several days, an elderly couple and 4 children were kidnapped and taken to Port Blair.
Oh, no wonder they kill everyone who steps foot on there. Seriously? Like, they let them on once and they kidnapped people and took them off the island. Yeah. Kill everyone who pulls up now.
Yeah, they kidnapped them, and then
they died.
Then they died because of this. They brought them sickness.
The 4 children were sent back to their home with quantities of presents. Yeah, that doesn't make it any better. You still kidnapped the freaking kids, okay? Freaking basketball isn't going to change anything.
You think they give them basketballs?
I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, what do you give kids as presents?
In the 1800s, they give them basketballs. This is going to be really cool in like 200 years.
I'm very intrigued by this. They said in 1883, they also went onto the island and they left gifts before leaving. So, like, people have left. Yeah.
Like, they land on the island, they leave some stuff, and they skedaddle real quick.
They don't, like, charge them with the Bible.
Yeah, they don't. In 2006, 2 Indian fishermen who were fishing illegally in prohibited waters were killed when their boat drifted too close to the island.
They don't like boats, do they?
If anyone gets too close, they're just going to kill you. And then 2018, our guy, John Allen Shaw, died. And it looks like that was the last interaction.
Oh, God. Do you see his quote? You guys might think I'm crazy in all this, but I think it's worthwhile to declare Jesus to these people. Please do not be angry at them or at God if I get killed. Okay. I'm not angry at them. Let's move on. Let's talk about the murder of Kenneth Zeller. So Kenneth Zeller was a teacher and librarian in Toronto. He was the victim of a homophobic hate crime when he was beaten to death by 5 youths. in Toronto's High Park. 5 young offenders were convicted and sentenced to prison. And there's no like information about how it happened or whatever, but I just think that's crazy that, I mean, they probably weren't his students, right? It just says it was in a park, but like 5 kids killed him.
I thought Canadians were supposed to be nice people.
They are, but maybe just when they turn 18.
I say that knowing full well that Canada suffers from all the same problems that the U.S. suffers from, so...
No, they don't. The only problem they suffer from is when they run out of maple syrup, or when a moose is in their way on the road.
They can't get their poutine in time.
And they say, sorry, eh? Can you move?
Hey,
eh?
sorry. So it looks like there was a movie made about it. John Grayson produced a movie called The Making of Monsters, which analyzed the incident through the lens of radical queer activists, disrupting the production of a heavily sanitized commercial movie of the week about the incident. I don't know what that sentence means.
Movie of the week redirects here. Television film. Oh, okay. So it's like a made for TV thing. So they say there was like just a super mainstream Lifetime movie being made about him, and they made this movie, The Making of Monsters, which like probably portrayed it more through his point of view or something like that. As Wikipedia says, this biography related to lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender history or culture is a stub. You can help Wikipedia by expanding it. But I just thought it was kind of interesting because I never heard of this. And it's just crazy, like, to be killed by 5 kids. I mean, sure, maybe they were, like, scary, but, like, I don't know, especially because he was a teacher and so he worked with kids. That's just crazy to me.
I'd be more likely to be killed by kids than by an adult.
Why?
I don't know, man. Kids are ruthless.
They're crazy.
They go with whatever the other kids are doing. And if, like...
It's true.
If we're stabbing this guy, like, the kids are all just we're stabbing this guy.
So there are, like, 3 or 4 schools within a block of me, I swear.
So you had to register?
Lately, it's just been insane with, like, parents, and they're, like, honking at me when I'm trying to get into my driveway. I'm just like, dude, this is my house. Like, and there's just kids everywhere, and I just am so scared I'm gonna hit one. And I was just like watching a couple kids walk down the street today, and they're just all like tall and gangly, and like, it's just crazy. Like, their brains are not developed. Like, they're almost full grown humans, but they are not all the way there.
Oh yeah,
you know,
their brains are like silly putty.
Yeah, you can just tell by like watching them and like listening to the things they're talking about. I'm like, dude, you are barely coherent.
You need to get like a really comfortable chair and like put it on like your porch and just start like shouting things at these kids as they walk by.
Dude, they would love it though. They would have so much fun. I would be that lady.
No, you could be like, I don't know, like your haircut's dumb.
That's just mean.
But, like, don't point at a certain kid so they all think that their haircut's dumb.
That's even meaner.
Or, like, one of you is the ugliest kid I've ever seen.
Oh, my God. Did someone do this to you, Bijan?
We don't talk about my family on this podcast.
Okay. Let's move on. Your turn.
Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about Walter the farting dog.
He sounds like a great guy already.
He is the title character of a series of children's books. Book was first published in 2001. By 2011, the first book had reported sales of more than 1.4 million hardcover copies.
Oh, he's cute. No, I've never seen these before. He's just kind of round and he's looking back like, oops.
And he's farting.
Oops,
okay,
what does that mean?
So these are picture books.
Right.
Not like novels.
Yeah, it's not a chapter book. There's not so much to say about a farting dog.
I was about to add this to my Goodreads, but...
Well, you still could. There's no shame in that. It's probably a good bedtime read.
You know, that's true.
You could ask Emma to read it to you.
Maybe
a couple nights a week. I have to tell you something. This book was inspired by a real-life dog named Walter, whose owner fed him donuts and beer. And who was prone to foul-smelling flatulence. Oh,
I
no.
feel like it doesn't even have to be about a dog at that point.
With assistance from Cotswinkle's wife, Elizabeth Gundy, they devised a story about a dog who overcomes two burglars with his smelly farts. This doesn't have to be a dog. It could just be an alcoholic man in his house. Donuts and beer.
He drinks so much he's awake at like 3 a.m. The only place that's open is the donut shop.
Nobody says he has to be awake. He can be fighting off the burglars from his bed.
Okay, so they came up with the idea 11 years passed before they found a willing publisher.
Wow, nobody wanted this? It's gold. Also, in 2008, it was reported that plans were underway to develop the series as a movie project for the Jonas Brothers.
Hold up.
What would they have done with
which
this?
one of the brothers is playing Walter?
Do you know the brothers? Is that...
It's got to be Nick, right?
Nick is the main one, right?
Nick is the young, sexy one.
Yeah, but isn't he like the front man kind of?
No, that's Joe.
Oh, I don't know who Joe is. I know Nick and Kevin.
Kevin's the old, awful one that no one likes.
Everyone loves... Dude, he's so rich now. I would marry him.
Joe is the sexy middle one, and Nick is the young, sexiest one.
Who's Joe Jonas? I know Nick Jonas. Oh, Joe Jonas is the one who's married to the Game of Thrones person. Okay, I have to tell you something. I think I thought Nick Jonas and Joe Jonas were the same person.
I thought there were only 2 Jonas brothers.
How many are there? I thought there were like 5.
I think there's 3 that play music, and I think there might be a 4th that just kind of hangs out.
I don't like Joe either. I don't think I like any of the Jonas brothers.
So yeah, Walter the farting dog, though.
So Kevin was going to be Walter, right?
Which one was Kevin? The old one.
The ugly one.
Yeah. He was definitely...
They were going to put him in the big dog suit.
But then 3 years later, they were no longer attached.
What's your favorite...
Farting dog?
What's your favorite literature category?
It's obviously poop fiction.
I thought that was so funny. What is that? The books have been criticized by some as an example of poop fiction for children, in the same vein as titles such as Captain Underpants and Zombie Bums from Uranus. I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be adding that to my Goodreads.
Oh God, yeah. So libraries are like pulling these books. Why? They're innocent fun. Kids love poop fiction. Okay, what's wrong with that? Would you rather them be reading like violent war books?
It's just funny.
It's poop. It's funny. It's hilarious.
Farts are
I am
funny.
29 years old and I still think it's hilarious.
Farts are always... Okay, all right. Not all farts are funny. Well-placed farts are funny. Like, the fart has to be self-aware. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that the idea of farts is funny, but being married to a man, most farts are not funny.
Okay, yeah. You know, I agree. Where conceptually reading and hearing about farts...
Exactly.
Hilarious. Experiencing...
If it's in your living room, it's not
It's
funny.
never funny. Just like seeing war on the big screen. I enjoy a good war movie. Do I want to experience it in real life? Of course not.
So, I take it you want this book for your birthday.
Oh. Let's talk about the loss of control, specifically for aeronautics.
Not just my life.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Oh, this is stressful. This is a stressful article.
Loss of control, also known as LOC, is the unintended departure of an aircraft from controlled flight and is a significant factor in several aviation accidents, the leading cause of jet fatalities worldwide. Loss of control can be mechanical failure, external disturbance, aircraft upset conditions, or inappropriate crew actions.
Are you ever afraid of or nervous about flying?
Every single time I get on a plane, yes.
You know how there's some people who are afraid of flying and they won't get on a plane?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I'm like, no, I'll fly all day.
Right.
I'll fly every single day of the next year. I don't care. But despite that, and like I will happily walk onto the plane. I don't have anxiety. It's not like any of that. Despite that, when I'm sitting on that plane, I am constantly imagining my death the whole time.
The takeoff and the landing.
Oh, no. Even when I'm up in the air, I'm like, what if the wings just fell off?
Okay, I don't know about that, but...
What if the engines just blew?
Well, if the engines blew, you'd, like, glide down.
Well, what if the engines blew and the pilot passed out?
Well, there's a co-pilot.
And he passed out, too.
Why did they both pass out?
CO2 from the engines.
It's funneled directly into the cockpit.
Yeah, the cockpit, yeah. I don't know. I just think that, like, airplane crashes, as infrequent as they are terrifying because everyone, I swear, I think every person who flies, if they're scared of flying or not, like, you think of that. You always think of that.
I mean, yeah. Do you not think of car crashes every time you get in a car?
No.
Oh.
Not at all. Do you? Every single time you get in the car, you're like, what if I just smash this into a pole?
I'm constantly thinking of what if I just drive into the other lane.
Okay, it sounds like you have some issues, Bijan.
Like when you go for a walk, you're just like, what if I like trip over my feet and smack my head into the curb? You never think that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, I mean, I don't have that luxury. I'm constantly thinking of how I'm gonna die.
That's funny coming from you, who just ate shit on a longboard and broke yourself.
Okay, it has been 6 months.
You're still recovering from it.
I am in a very good place. Thank you very much.
You need to do yoga, that reminds me.
So causes of loss of control in aeronautics may include the following.
I don't know that I want to know these.
Well, you're going to know them. Poor judgment, happens to the best of us. Failure to recognize an aerodynamic stall or spin.
What is an aerodynamic spin? The air just spins. It's like a tornado in the sky.
In flight dynamics, a spin is a special category of stall resulting in auto-rotation about the aircraft's longitudinal axis and a shallow rotating downward path approximately centered on a vertical axis.
I don't know what any of that means, but it sounds terrifying.
Have you seen those trees that have the seed pods where when they fall, they like spin down?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine that, but an airplane.
Oh boy. I don't want to.
Also known as tailspin. So yeah, you just spin while going down.
Wait, tailspin? Then what's it called when you get to your destination faster because of the tailwind? Oh God, now whenever I hear that, I'm going to be like, did you just say tailspin?
Next one, which is intentional failure to comply with regulations. That's a cause of loss of control, is when you just do it on purpose.
Which nobody does unless you're like a hijacker.
Right. And then there's also failure to maintain airspeed, failure to follow procedure, which seems like it would fall under that intentional failure. Pilot inexperience, and use of prohibited prescription or over-the-counter. So the causes of loss of control seems like it's the pilot's fault.
Contributing factors involving inappropriate pilot actions. So there have to be other... 3 categories: pilot or human-induced, environmentally induced, and systems-induced. So that's just basically like the human-induced one.
Gotcha. You could just start listing all sorts of things, like pilot is dumb, pilot
was talking to the hot flight attendant and not paying attention.
Yeah.
Pilot was snacking on peanuts.
Who made this list? It could be anything.
This is probably, they probably took, the biggest airplane accidents and
distilled it into a list, yeah. Well, you're gonna love this next section. Notable accidents.
Oh, can't do this.
None of these make any sense.
Oh my God, look how long they are. These are all notable?
I think anytime a plane crashes, it's notable, right? There was the China Northwest Airlines Flight 2303, which lost control during takeoff. It had maintenance carried out before its flight, and the autopilot channel had been erroneously connected to the bank control, and vice versa. This incorrect maintenance was not done in a properly approved facility When the pilot engaged the autopilot, the aircraft began to oscillate violently. Any attempts to rectify made it worse. The plane shook itself to pieces, breaking up in midair, killing all on board.
Oh my god.
So they put the wires on the wrong way.
I'm never flying again.
This was 1994.
That was not that long ago. I was 2.
Almost 30 years ago.
This one scares me, I think, because I most frequently do domestic flights. You know, there's always crap going down on international flights. But this United Airlines Flight 232 was a regularly scheduled United Airlines flight from Denver to Chicago. Easy, right?
Sure.
Easy. Super quick.
Yeah.
Serving the flight crash landed at, how do you say this? Sioux City, Iowa?
Yeah.
I've always wondered.
Yeah, Sioux.
Because I still say lapel. I still say lapel.
So you still say that is how you say it.
No, I say label in my mind, but I guess I trained myself to say lapel out loud. Crash landed after suffering a catastrophic failure of its tail-mounted engine. See, I told you, it's always the engine.
Always the engines.
Which led to the loss of many flight controls. Of the 296 passengers and crew on board, 111 died in the accident and 185 survived, making the crash the 5th deadliest involving the DC-10. What about that crash in Oakland when they were landing? That wasn't very deadly, was it?
That was the one with the fake pilot names, right?
Yeah, that was Oakland. It's weird because you're coming over the water and then all of a sudden the water ends and there's some rocks and I see it every time. And I actually think that people died, maybe not on the flight, but people were like laying on the tarmac and the fire department came and put foam all over in case the plane caught fire, and they actually ran over someone who was covered in foam laying on the tarmac and killed them, which is like really, really bad.
I think I remember that, yeah.
Obviously. So it probably wouldn't be on here because it wasn't like, the flight wasn't deadly. I guess it was like the aftermath.
Right. This one that you just said, the United Airlines Flight 232, despite the deaths, the accident is considered a prime example of successful crew resource management.
Oh, God. So that was like a good best case scenario.
More people survived than they died.
I don't care. I don't want anyone to die on my flight.
How do some people die and how do some people live?
Yeah, I don't know. It must have been violent, probably, and maybe half the flight or whatever it was didn't have seatbelts on at the time or something like that.
Heads or something.
Something like that. Or, you know, I mean, they say if you're in a car and one person doesn't have their seatbelt on and you get into a crash, that person like flies around and like hits people and like can cause injury to other people.
Right.
Aside from like killing themselves.
Right. So you're supposed to like strap your dog in too.
Yeah, I did. And then she chewed through her seatbelt because she didn't like it. So if anything happens, I'm getting a 60-pound ass to my face.
Join us next week where we're going to start out talking about the East Linton Bridge.
That's not very exciting.
That's what the people want.
I am so excited for the, what is it?
East Linton Bridge.
The East
Linton
Bridge. No, I'm not excited about that. I can't even pretend.
C'est la vie. Too bad. It's done.
Okay, bye.